you have any thoughts or predictions going into this match?
I do have predictions. I think Sheth's going to take it. I have to side with him as he is like my favorite person in the world. He is probably the most mana person in the world, and
See that?
he has so much skill. So much skill.
Even more mana than White Raw?
More mana than White Raw, yes. No.
It's tough. It's a tough call.
No, I'm going to say no to that because White Raw gave me a free shirt that said White Raw on it. It was awesome.
Was it his jersey? Because that'd be super cool. Like after a huge match, he tears off his jersey and throws
White Raw jersey or shirt, whatever. Because
it
was just a black shirt with a name tag that said White Raw. Is that how it's supposed to look?
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be. You never know.
Whatever.
Jerseys used to be pretty primitive back in the day. You know that.
I guess so. But Liquid Sheth, this guy is just so good. I've always been a big fan of him ever since StarCraft Brood War. He was quite exceptional back then, and he's been able to translate his skills into StarCraft 2 pretty well. Although TargA, he's going to be a pretty fierce opponent to take out because he actually came through the open bracket and played pretty phenomenal to get there.
Yeah. So TargA, TargA's win percentage in ZVZ is 50%, right down the middle. So you can't actually say it's a good or bad matchup for him. Still yet to decide. But Sheth has a surprisingly good win rate.
He's really
62%. It's actually his best statistical matchup, and he's been on a really hot win streak. He's beaten a lot of people from Onog, of course, where he placed really high up in IPL4. So Sheth, his ZVZ is looking very strong.
Yeah, I love watching Sheth ZVZ. I always learn a ton. If you watch him on his stream, he streams all the time, and he goes into detail about what he's doing. So, you're able to just get inside the Zerg mind, and hopefully this will be none other than this will be just like
it'll be just like every other series.
Exactly.
Yeah. I understood what you meant.
Where we'll learn a ton. That's what I'm saying.
That means that we're starting to spend a lot of quality time together, Andre. That I can understand and finish your sentences.
Wow.
TargA is going for a quick hatchery here. Sheth stays on one base for now. Now, what can we expect on a map like Jakur's Plateau? ZVZ, a lot of players thought that it's a little bit safer to expand because of the way the ramps work, and it's really close to the hatchery and also escaping from the hatchery. So what are your thoughts for Jakur's?
That's definitely one of the main lines to ZVZ. You go for that 15 hatch, but we're seeing the other main line as well, which is a 14-14 speed link into expansion. Now what Sheth needs to do is put on a lot of pressure. There's two ways of actually getting back and equalizing the economy. Either forcing your opponent to over-make Zerglings, or the other one is to kill some drones. If you can kill 2 or 3 drones, he's in a good position. Let's look at the income tab. It looks like TargA is ahead by 2 drones. Still, those 2 drones will be making a lot more for him for a longer time, so he needs to remove a couple drones if possible. Or the other way, as I said, indirect damage with the Zerglings. Make more Zerglings than your opponent.
Sheth is targeting down these Zerg cocoons, trying to see if he can catch whatever pops out. 4 Zerglings here from TargA against the 6, finally meeting up to make the count even, but TargA took some extra damage. Sheth also got some pretty good information. He can pretty much assume a lot based off his early Zerglings, so how is he choosing to respond? Oh, I thought he was putting the Baneling Nest, but in fact TargA is the one putting the Baneling Nest.
Yeah, a little bit interesting now. Metabolic Boost is just about to finish for Sheth. He probably should just poke around and just show that he has Metabolic Boost. It's one of the most important things that you want to do. And there he is, just moving around. It seems really silly to be showing this, but it actually keeps your opponent in their base until they get Metabolic Boost for themselves. So I like what he's doing there. It's just, stay in your base, let me drone up.
Now Sheth sees there's no real mineral saturation, so the only advantage TargA has really been able to get is larva counts, and you can see that he's still only on 1 queen as well as the second one. Oh, just kidding, the second one just popped, is actually just getting up the ramp. So TargA still has that larva advantage. Now Sheth is making his own Baneling Nest and going into full-out Zergling production. 12 on the way.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to do anything with this. Now, this is the normal time where TargA has to do some sort of counter-aggression. It doesn't necessarily need to be aggression, so I'm going to actually take that back. But he needs to get a scout in to see what his opponent is doing, what his opponent is capable of. He saw a couple of drones in there. I think he was able to actually... No, he didn't kill any drones, excuse me. But he was just... trying to get a feel of his opponent, seeing if he needs to make Banelings or not. That's
he saw the Baneling Nest, so he knows what's coming. Sheth moving in here and trying to pick off one of the Banelings, and he does. A pretty good trade. 2 Zerglings for 1 Baneling. And Sheth is how many Banelings he's going to make. none. In fact, he's retreating at this point, taking a lair and droning, feeling like he did a good job pressuring.
Yeah, he did do a good job pressuring. Let's go ahead and check it out. It looks like both these players are droning up just about the same amount. Sheth is surprisingly taking up to lair, so you can see these banelings, the opportunity cost for this was the lair. Sheth didn't have to make any banelings at that point in time, so you can see he's been a little bit delayed in getting them, but he has a faster lair. What does he actually do with it? Well, you can go into Spire Tech, you can go into Centrifugal Hooks, which is probably not as common, but also you can go into Glue Reconstitution. Based on the fact that we don't see a Roach Warren up just yet, I'm thinking it will be a Spire Tech.
Yeah, and you know, those small things that Sheth did, like he picked off a couple banelings, which gives him a little bit of a gas advantage, so he doesn't have to waste any of his banelings or units accordingly. And TargA, he's moving out, sees a lot of Zerglings here, so he has to retreat. And Sheth still has that huge tech advantage. That lair's about to finish. And I'm curious what he's going to choose here. Now, there's a lot of flexibility, but we have a Spire that's on the way.
The main reason I didn't say Infestors, although it is possible, the main reason why I didn't say it is because if you're going Infestors, you need to get your Zerglings to be a little bit strong. You need to get an Evolution Chamber out, at least one. And we didn't see that just yet. Now, Sheth has to prepare for this. A lot of units are incoming, and you can see in the unit counting station, just about 20 Zerglings underway.
Sheth is up 12 drones. Oh, the Zergling's not paying attention. That was 1 for 6. And TargA now sending one Sniper Assassin Zergling, but he failed his mission very, very hard. Oh my goodness. 16 banelings are on the way here for TargA. And Sheth tries to see if he can explode 2 of those banelings to trade very well, but he actually retreats immediately. Now TargA, this is very risky. The banelings can go and trade immediately. And how is Sheth going to hold this off?
Sheth should just go. Oh my god. That is a ton of banelings that he just killed there, but unfortunately for Sheth, he actually lost a lot of banelings for himself. And it's just baneling trades all over the place, but he does connect with some of the drones. A lot of drones go down here.
Actually, only 5 went down, but the question is, can these 2 banelings also follow up? There's a lot weak still, and Sheth, at the very end of it, lost only 7 drones. Wow. And he still stays up in the drone count. Sheth did lose one of his queens that was at the bottom of the ramp, putting him down to just 1, so he will start falling behind in larva count. And the other queen is very vulnerable. Sheth is remaking that spine crawler. TargA is not done with his aggression yet. He's going to streamline his Zerglings in, but for now, looks like Sheth could have he reduced the amount of damage that I expected him to take.
Big problem is TargA doesn't have a follow-up to this. He's pretty all-in with this. The Spire is already finished. Muta's on the way. Now he can slowly inch out the Muta count. He doesn't have to get them all at once, which is something that we normally see. The main reason for that is because he can just defend. He knows his opponent is throwing all of his gas into this attack, and that's it. So I love what Sheth is doing at this point. He needs to save that one queen.
It does drop, and the spine, of course, it's exploding next to the spine crawler, so that's taking a lot of damage. The Mutalisks do arrive, and he's trying to spread out his units accordingly. TargA, his banelings are getting less and less effective, although 2 managed to get to the middle line and snipe a few more drones, but it's only been 2-3 drones at a time, and TargA's not really able to follow up with his aggression.
And look at that, 8 Mutas out on the way, so this will be a big turning point for Sheth. As soon as he establishes control of his own base, starts to get a little bit more banelings out and Zerglings, he can go ahead and relinquish that defensive command for those Mutas. Once he does that, he can obviously kill all these Overlords in the middle of the map, and top that, kill some juicy drones.
TargA going to try to bust up the ramp again, but immediately turn back, seeing the amount of banelings there. Sheth has a pretty big advantage, and of course, TargA is getting supply blocked as well because of these Overlords that were in the middle. Sheth has 12 Mutalisks out and +1 on the way. Sheth in full domination of the pace of the game.
Yeah, as soon as these Mutas get into the natural, it should be a pretty clear, you know, GG coming out from TargA pretty soon.
Does transfuse one, but he misses the other one. And yeah, he's still got 4 queens left. Sheth targeting them 1 by 1. And with that, the hope of TargA coming back in this game. He does have a Spore, but his position in the back, and the Mulas are happy to camp directly over that hatchery. The Zerglings attempting to run out, but Sheth making 11 banelings prepared to crash the gates in an unwelcome fashion. Sheth totally taking TargA's base by force, and I don't think TargA can really do anything to stop it.
No, he can't. I mean, he has Spore Crawlers. They're not well positioned. The queens get picked off ever so quickly. And you can see the main is super undefended. He has no ground, he has no air, he has nothing. Now finally Roaches are going to pop out. Roaches don't do that well against Mutas unless you're Mondragon from the TSL3.
Yeah, the counter of everything is roaches, right? The counter to phoenixes is roaches. The
Yeah, man, that was sick.
That was really, really cool, but it's been a while since we've seen that. Sheth looks like he's cleaning out TargA. His hatchery is left to bleed, which is actually quite backwards logic because that's how they actually regenerate health, right? When you leave a hatchery to bleed, that's how it stays alive.
Yeah, that's kind of
funny how Zerg works, right?
Anyway, these banelings
great shots.
do it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. GG comes out from TargA, and we have ourselves the first winner. Sheth is going to take it 1-0.
Yeah, so, you know, TargA picked the best time to hit. I've seen players like Spanishiwa do this at tournaments, especially at CSL. He was pulling this off in every ZVZ he was trying. And it's really before you can get any important tech out. So the timing that TargA picked was good, but Sheth was able to defend very well. You saw he lost only 7 drones, I believe, after 16 to 20 banelings were crashing into his natural.
That was beautiful defense by
it was a great job
by Sheth. I think the baneling control from TargA was a little bit off. He had a lot of his banelings grouped up too much. You know, send them in waves of 2, 2, 2, but consistently fast, but send them in waves. The way he sent them in, it was just like,
clumped,
they were clumped together. There was a lot of times when, you know, 5 banelings were trading on a queen. It's just not what you want to do.
Yeah.
Just overall kind of sloppiness in that beginning, in that attack,
and
I think.
It's just a small thing, too. Like, it's just a small, second of sloppiness, and that's what ZVZ is. If you mess up for a second, that's what.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like sloppy in my or our comparison, because if I was to play ZVZ, he would look like a savant to me. Honestly, the guy is obviously really good. But in a professional level, if we're holding them to that standard, then yes, it was a little bit sloppy. I think he tried to rush it a little bit too fast, and I think he could have done amazing damage if he just calmed down a little, sent in 2 at a time with his Zerglings, of course, and just really, really emphasized his baneling power at that point in time.
So TargA getting a little bit too rushed, and we'll see whether or not he's able to come back in game number two. Speaking of rush, though, if you want really fast technology, check out Kingston HyperX, the people who brought to you that game with blazing speed memory and SSD. Check them out at kingstonhyperx.com. You like what I did there, Andre? We'll be back with game number 2. We'll see what map TargA chooses, or will Sheth take it 2-0? Find out after this commercial.